Guys, today we are going over part 2 of the meta class rating list. I've got a class rating list here. Some of you guys can think of it like a tier list, but I feel like rating list is more appropriate. Across pretty much all the meta classes for Throne and Liberty, we got the Western global release just around the corner. And part 1, I invited two, I guess I'll say global / Westerners. I know Joey's from Asia, but we have like more of like the English speaking guys that are not Korean. And today I thought I would invite two more guests. But these guests are Korean. I know Whelps also kind of primarily streams to a Western audience and whatnot, but I still thought it would be good to get some additional insight from not only Koreans, but also experienced veterans. And on top of that, Whelps is a free-to-play player, which is even more insight, different perspectives. So it'll be interesting to what he has to say. I will introduce you guys. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves, but real quick, for this video, just so that we can kind of keep it relatively short, I will refrain from giving my breakdown on each class. If you guys want to check out my opinions, just check out part 1. My ratings are still the same. Obviously, of course, I may interject and maybe challenge these guys on some of their takes for sure. But for the most part, I'm going to just let these guys kind of give their reasoning behind their numbers. And again, if you want to check mine out, you can check out part 1. Part 1 will be linked in the description below. Okay, so Whelps, thank you, Whelps and Koon. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Whelps, could you introduce yourself and let us know who you are, where we can find you, and everything? Yeah.
So I'm a long-time MMO enjoyer. I've been streaming, playing Throne since the KR launch till now. And yeah, that's about it. I main both stuff, and I'm a free-to-play player.
Great. What other game? You played New World, right, Whelps?
Yes, I also played New World. I started streaming when New World came out. Yeah.
Gotcha. And Whelps was also part of my team when we took the first castle on Korea. He's been a day 1 player, very experienced. And Koon, could you please introduce yourself? Let us know who you are.
You guys are good players, but it's all amateurs. But I am a pro player. I'm a pro MMORPG PvP player, and I mostly played from arcades. Thank you.
Big arcade following. Big arcade. Koon, are you streaming on any platforms, making content anywhere? Obviously, you have a YouTube channel. Where can we find you?
What does that mean?
Oh, sorry. Where can we find you? Where can we watch your content?
Oh yeah, you guys can find me in the YouTube channel. It's my 7th channel because I have a very less followers and subscribers. But it's my 7th channel. I just want to create it for my hobby, and I just want to show myself. So you can search on YouTube Kooncoon or Kooncoon, yeah.
Okay.
Kooncoon Arcade.
Great. So guys, just so you know, for additional context, all 3 of us are current endgame KR players. We've been playing since the launch. And the total gear score between all of us is quite high. I'm pretty much at 5K. Whelps, what's your current gear score right now?
I'm about 4.8.
4.8. Again, free to play. It's fucking impressive. Koon, what's your gear score?
PvE gears is 4,770 something, and PvP gears are 5,067 or something.
Gotcha. 5 to 5.1K. So this is coming from the perspective of current endgame players. And just a reminder for a lot of you guys that may play in beta or some of these other versions, the game changes significantly. However, it changes significantly from the early game to mid game to end game. But we are going to be talking about both tier 1 and tier 2. As you can see from this rating list here, we have 2 ratings. If we take a look at this right here, for example, there's a 3/4. 3 means this is a 3 out of 5 for tier 1 non-arc boss gear. And the 4 means that it is a 4 out of 5 with a fully BIS setup, including arc boss weapons in tier 2. Current gear, post to Landry, current day KR. Okay, so we're just going to get right into this one. Okay. And I'm going to scroll down so we can look at your guys' numbers because, again, mine was in the previous. And there it is. Let's start with Greatsword Dagger. That's the first on the list. Whelps, when we're talking about PvP, you gave this a 3-4, 4-5, 4-5, 4-5. Koon, you gave this a 1-4-3-4, question mark 4, 3-4. Koon, why don't you start off? What is the question mark? What is the question
Hey
mark?
guys, when the 3 vs 3 arena came out, it was after they added the tier 2 gears. So it's not possible to calculate how it will be with the tier 1 gears only. So it's I only want to write a fact on my list. And I really took pretty much time to make that list because I had to compare each different weapon. So that's why that means I cannot even expect.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So when the arena came out in KR, it came out when we had tier 2 gear, and this is speculating based off of tier 1. Okay, that's fair. Koon, why don't you tell us, you have a Greatsword Dagger as a 1 out of 5 for tier 1. Greatsword Dagger, large scale GVG. Any thoughts?
The reason why it's a 1 score with the tier 1 is because it's very hard to complete the 1 target in that the GVG with the tier 1 gears before they die because of only tier 1 gears, so they just like burst before they even use any skills. But when they get the tier 2 gears, they can actually afford some damages and they can complete the 1 target before they die. So that's why I gave 4 scores with the tier 2 gears in the GVG.
Okay, Whelps, you gave it a 3-4 as well. You also gave it a 4 in tier 2. What are your thoughts on Greatsword Dagger and PvP? You could just talk about like pretty much large scale, small scale, arena, 1v1, whatever you want to add.
Yeah, well, Greatsword Dagger is still really strong in like deleting a single target, but it becomes much stronger in tier 2 when you get access to like the Earthquake Greatsword and also the Arc Boss weapons. But still, with the new skill expressions, Greatsword Dagger, the AoE stun has big impact in large scale. If you're consistent with it, and you can still kill high valuable targets like staff bow players backline. So I don't think 1 is too much, but like 3, yeah, tier 1, and then you get much stronger in tier 2s.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Whelps here. Like, again, I like how Kuna's kind of gone with extreme ratings. Like, to me, a 1 out of 5 is like some random ass weapon combination. That's just
but to be fair, none of us have played the tier 1 with the new skills.
For sure,
so, yeah.
for sure. Good point. We have not played in tier 1 content with the new skill expressions or skill specializations. That is a good point. Anything else that you guys want to add to the PvP? If not, I'd like to get your thoughts on PvE. Whelps, your ass is doing fucking dungeons nonstop. You gave it a 3-3, 3-4. Koon, you gave it a 0-2, 1-2 in PvE. Whelps,
Yeah.
why don't you tell real quick, Whelps, why don't you give it, like, this is a pretty neutral rating. What do you think? Why the 3-3, 3-4?
The Koon score is correct if we are talking about rune grinding, min-maxing parties. But like Greatsword Daggers still have decent DPS. They recently got a lot of buffs as well. They're Dagger and GS. So it's got to be 3 minimum.
Koon, 0
Yeah?
0 out of 2 or 0-2. What do you think? Walk us through your 0 rating.
Okay, first
Hold on, time out real quick. Sorry, there is a slight, the recording is good, but there's a slight desync with the stream. I'm just gonna fix it real quick. It's because I'm streaming to a cloud server. Sorry guys, let's just give it one moment. Thank you, Jenny. Just give it 1 second, and we should be good.
Actually, give me a time for smoking.
Okay, great. All right, go for it, Koon. 0-2, 0 in tier 1. Is he fucking healing the boss? Like, what is going on? What is this 0?
My most of rune levels are over 55. Maybe I have a highest level of rune levels than you two guys.
Oh, for sure.
Is it right?
I don't know about Whelps. Whelps is always in there, but for me, yes.
I'm on 50 plus.
50 plus.
Okay. When I create a party, if I bring a Greatsword Dagger, I just go with 5.
You just go with 5? Sorry.
I just go with 5 of 6 party members.
Oh, you just rather go with 5 people rather than take the 6th.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
But after the update and the tier 2 high gear players with the Greatsword Dagger, they are pretty okay. So I gave a 2 and 2.5. The scores I made is depend on 2.5. 2.5 means the half of the 5, and that means the medium or normal.
Right in the middle. Okay.
But the even tier 2 Greatsword Dagger and new skills, new specializations, what the fuck ever, they cannot get the 2.5. So I gave 2. And the tier 1, it's just I just go with 5.
Okay. All right. So, I actually forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video. I did mention this in the first video. Just to save time, we're not going to talk too much about farming just because currently, right now, you don't really farm solo. If you're farming, you're pretty much farming in a group. So, yeah, there are certain classes that can solo farm better, and there's certain classes that will help the group farm better. But like this is such like the farming content is significant, but you are doing it in group. You could be a healer, go in, never even deal a single point of damage and just heal, and you'll be totally fine. So I'm just gonna leave these ratings here in the spreadsheet for you guys, but we're not gonna, to save time, we're not gonna really talk about the farming. We'll just talk about the dungeons and challenge dungeons as far as the PvE ranking goes. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the Greatsword Sword Shield. Whelps. You're consistent with yesterday's ratings with our guest from yesterday. You gave it a perfect 5-5 across the board. Koon, not so much. 5-5 in large scale, and it falls off in small scale. And then in arena, you've given it a 4 in the arena. Could you tell us what your breakdown is here? Why does it fall off to a 2-4 and a 4 in arena for you?
Oh, is it
Mr. Koon? Yeah, sorry. I'll be a little bit slower. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit drunk. You can ask me again.
Okay. Yeah. What is your take on Greatsword Sword Shield? Why a 2-4 in small scale and a 4 in arena for tier 2?
The small scale PvP Greatsword and the SNS cannot carry the team. It's not bad, but it cannot carry the team. When I give up, like as you can see, the 4 score means it's very good.
Very good.
The 5 means the 5 score means it's the best in the any other weapon. So as you can see, there's not many 5 scores in my list. So the 4 it means very good. But the tier 1 with the 2 score, that means the tier 1 with the Greatsword and SNS, it's not very good at tanky, and it's not even good at DPS. So I gave a little bit less than the medium score.
For tier 1.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I can't wait to talk to you and compare this 4 rating to your Bow Dagger 5 rating. I can't wait to talk to you about that. But Whelps, why don't you tell me, what are your thoughts? You have it. You gave it a perfect 5-5 across the board.
Well, hands down, it's the best build in the game in terms of the performance in all forms of content. Everyone's playing one class. You're playing tank and a DPS, 2 classes at the same time. You are tanky and you're also killing people.
Well, there's one other class that plays 2 classes too. We're getting to it soon.
Coming up soon, yeah.
So I mean, honestly, the man, a few words, but that's really all that needs to be said. For PvE, 5.5. Koon, you gave it a 4.4 for farming. I think that's fair. Whatever. 5.5. But you guys both agree that in PvE this is top tier.
Yeah.
Okay. Any reason why? Would you care to elaborate?
The reason why SNS Greatsword in the dungeon PvE is the top is because that is the necessary. That is a necessary main tanker. There's no other weapons can afford it. Only SNS Greatsword can offer the aggroes, enough aggroes, and the main tanker in the dungeon. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's go talk about the Sword Shield Dagger. Well, she gave it a 3.3, 4.3 in small scale, 4.3 in arena, 4.3 in 1v1s. Koon, you gave it a fat 0.0. Come on, like 0.0 is wild. Like 0.0 to me is like you are literally making it harder for your team to win. Like you are actually a detriment to your team. Okay, I gotta hear this. 0.0 in arena as well, and a 1.1 in small scale PvP. I mean, it looks like this is your lowest rating. I think it's fair to say this is the worst class in the game in your perspective when it comes to PvP. Koon, why is it the worst class?
If I have a SNS Dagger, if I'm in the PvP guild and if there is a SNS Dagger player who wants to PvP, then I will fucking kick him from my guild.
Okay, but why? Why?
It's fucking garbage. It's the same thing that you put your delicious Pizza Hut pizza and with the broccolis and some fucking garbages.
Okay.
It's fucking broccoli.
All right. I mean, fair enough. But Koon, I have to ask you. Like, we need substance. You got to tell me why. Why is it so bad?
Okay, it's not even focused on the tank. It's not even focused to the evade or assassin. It's not even giving enough damage. It's just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like for example, when you received your pizza, like it calls the combination pizza, so you received it, and there is a plastic and broccolis and pineapples and fucking shit, all the shit things on your pizza. What will you say? But they will answer you, but that is a combination pizza, bro. Right?
Fuck. Okay. So you think it's the worst class in the game?
Yeah, one of the worst. Yeah.
Okay. So question. You guys are a lot more connected to the Korean community than I am. Before we get Whelps' take on SNS Dagger, what is the general perspective of SNS Dagger in KR? If you guys are familiar.
Nobody uses it.
Mm-hmm. But is there like a perspective, an additional perspective that you could share? Like, do most people feel the same way Koon feels when it comes to this class?
I think so. Like, if you're talking about like hardcore, like top
yeah,
PvP guilds,
yeah,
you wouldn't take Sword Dagger.
Okay.
Same.
Okay,
It's a very niche build. It's only good for like initiating. Once you have like the Queen Bell sword, it's good to lead your bomb squad with. But nowadays, like sword GS does better in every way.
Yeah. Well, you gave it a 3.3 large scale. You gave it a 4.3 and a 4.3 small scale arena. So you gave it a 4 in small scale and in arena at tier 1. Is this because of is this because of how strong evasion is in the early game?
Yes, and also if you're playing SNS, you're minimum 3.
Okay.
And
fair.
I remember back in tier 1 days, this was actually really popular build. It's like tank / assassin. You could kill like a backline DPS just with the dagger. So I think it performs better in tier 1 than in tier 2, so that's why.
Okay, fair enough. PvE, you gave it a 3. Is this also because it's just simply a SNS?
Yeah, when you have SNS, you need a tank for the group, so you can still tank with SNS. So yeah.
Right. And to add additional context here, guys, for those of you who may not have watched part 1, we did talk about this, but there are a couple of different ways you can kind of look at the PvE dungeon content. At the end of the day, the majority of you guys doing PvE content, it really won't matter what tank you take, what kind of DPS you take. It's just kind of like clear daily content. You can clear it with any class, but like the more difficult the class becomes, if there's a new dungeon that comes out, or if you're pushing higher challenge dungeons, or if you're trying to clear fast, that's when some of these picks are going to be a little bit more relevant, and that's when you'd want to take like a Greatsword Sword Shield over a SNS Dagger. But if you're just doing some random clear, you know, like current end game, we just want to clear tier 2 dungeons, and you know, it's fine. You can take an SNS Dagger. It doesn't really matter. So to just add some context there. Moving on to Sword, Shield, Wand. You gave this also a perfect 5-5 rating across the board, but you gave it a 3-4 in PvE. Koon, you gave this a 5-5 across the board, and you also gave it a lower rating in PvE. Whelp, so why don't you walk us through this one? Why don't you start first and tell us what the rating is? Or why the rating is
For the PvE or
for both. Well, yeah, let's start with PvP.
Okay.
Sorry.
okay. Well, this is the second class that plays 2 roles.
roles.
It's a tank plus healer. You are full tank plus heal. This is the paladin build that just never dies in frontline. And for the PvE, I gave it a 4, 3, and 4 because with SNS you can still tank. But the GS provides damage buff for your party. That's like almost necessary in like high tier dungeons. So in that terms, I gave it lower than 5.
Gotcha.
PvE.
So in PvE, guys, there is a skill called Blood Devotion, which Greatsword has access to. It buffs the party's damage significantly, and that obviously is not available to an SNS wand. Mr. Koon, Mr. Kooncoon,
Yep.
tell us about your take on Sword, Shield, Wand.
Which part?
Just
PvP
PvP.
or PvE?
PvP. Let's start with
PvP.
PvP. Yeah.
The reason why it has a 505 in the GVG for tier 1 and tier 2 is because Sword, Shield, and Wand is just a healer at the GVG. It's not a tanker. It can be a healer, and it can be a very tanky healer, so it can survive more than the staff wand, but still can heal to heal party members. So it's very, very good.
You spent a lot of time on SNS wand, right? Weren't you maining it for a while?
Yeah. It's just fucking OP. It's a fucking OP as fuck. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's just a fucking god class. Like a Jesus class, yeah.
You gave it a little bit of lower rating in dungeons.
Yeah, because I said that the tier 2 of the dungeon PvE is 5 or 2. That means only a few, less than 1% of SNS1 players can afford the aggros at the dungeon. And without them, it's all useless because they are not even a main healer, because it's not even better than step 1, because at least the staff can frozen the mobs so they can make the progress faster, or whatever they can make a DPS or whatever better than the shield wand as a healer. And even they want to be a tanker as a sword, shield, and wand. Oh my god, sorry, I'm drunk.
No, you're fine.
So, okay. So the reason, so whatever, even they want to be a tanker with sword, shield, and wand, if they cannot make a very good skills, what is it? 1 second, give me 1 second. Skill rotation, then they cannot even get the enough aggro. So that's fucking like, that's not even a tanker. That's not even a main healer with DPS. That's like.
Okay,
so it's less than 2.5.
So question. I was not aware that SNS wand had issues with aggro. As far as I've seen, they haven't had any issues holding aggro, but I also haven't done or seen SNS wands in higher level challenge dungeons. So when you're saying that they have issues holding aggro, is that specifically in kind of like a min-maxed a bunch of bow crossbow like builds or party compositions at higher challenge dungeons, or are you talking about like even just regular dungeons?
It doesn't really matter regular or high. The challenge dimensional circle doesn't matter because the aggro is not depend on how much damage they make, so it doesn't matter with the build or how much gear or combat power. It's depend on how to use the skills and how the skill build and skill rotation. So it's about the experience, and that's only few people can afford my aggro with the SNS one. And I have some friends, like 2-3 friends can afford my damage with the SNS one. It's very hard. The rotation is very hard. What I mean.
Okay. I think that about covers it for SNS Wand. Let's talk about Bow Dagger. This is one of the most fun classes in my opinion. It's a very fun class. Whelp, you've given this a 4-5 in large scale, 3-4 in small, 3-4 in arenas, and a 2-3 in in 1v1s. You give it a 4-4 in PvE and a 3-3 in farming. Koon, you've given this a 4-5 in large scale. You gave it a 1-3. I apologize. Koon, you gave this a 5-5 in large scale. You gave it a 5-5 in small scale. You gave it another 5 in arena, and you gave it a 3-4 in 1v1s. You also gave it a 4-4 in PvE dungeons and 3-3 in farming. Okay, so let's start with Whelps here, because I feel like Whelps has a pretty neutral opinion on this. You have played. You're a bow main. Well, you play bow stat, but you've also put in a lot of hours with Bow Dagger. Tell us about your rating here when it comes to the PvP with Bow Dagger.
Bow is kind of meta right now in Zerg PvPs. But I just gave it a 4 for tier 1 because to just make a differentiate with the tier 2s. You get a lot stronger in tier 2s.
It's definitely better, yeah.
And also small scale. It's kind of in the middle because so many build counters you, and you have to play perfectly to counter them. So I didn't really give them high rating, as well as the arena. Like it's one of the meta builds for arena, but out of all those meta builds, it's kind of like low tier. And yeah, you just get destroyed by GS daggers and any SNS players. So
I actually 100% agree with you there. Also, to add to your take there, I think another thing that should be factored is the fact that right now there's a lot, especially in the arena, there's a lot of Greatsword Daggers and SNS Greatswords. So the fact that it's just so you guys know, the Greatsword Dagger is a hard counter to Bow Dagger. And in this game, it's very much a rock paper scissors like game. You can't have a perfect build. You can't have a perfect class. Every class has some kind of weakness for the most part, unless you're SNS Wand. So yeah, right now that's a thing. Mr. Koon, you've given this a perfect 5 rating across the board in PvP outside of 1v1s. This is, in my opinion, a wild take. I'd love to hear your take on this.
So is that exactly Longbow Dagger, right?
Longbow Dagger, yes.
Yeah. When I was at the top 10 of the arena, I met a very, very good Longbow Dagger players, and I couldn't find any problem of their holes. I mean, the hole means the
like a weakness.
약점.
Yeah, weakness. Yeah.
Yeah, weakness. I couldn't find any weakness with the bow and dagger skills. It's very usable for GVG and small scale PvP or arena, whatever. It's like there is no any weakness. It's perfect. So I gave 5-5.
Wow. What class were you playing in the arena during that time when you saw that player?
SNS Wand.
SNS Wand. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, this is, I think, so like for me, right? If we look at some of your other ratings outside of staff 1, which is support, which is kind of different. Outside of that, when it comes to the DPS classes, based off of your ratings, you are essentially saying that Bow Dagger is overall the best weapon combination, best class in the game. Is that fair to say, Koon? Do you think Bow Dagger is at the top?
For
Just PvP, overall PvP, yeah.
I can say it's not kind of top or something. It's if you like to be a sniper, then you just need to play a Bow Dagger. Then you will not disappoint on your choice. And if you think it's still better than if you play on other weapons, then you're just shit trash. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you the only thing that I could add is I disagree with Koon's take on this being 5-5. I think Bow Dagger has a fantastic kit. Very well rounded, but there are some clear weaknesses to it, and I think they just get shut down, absolutely shut down by Greatsword Dagger. Yeah, and also I think there's a big problem with the end game with the amount of hit that you can stack on a Bow Dagger. That's another thing. But arenas, there's so many Greatsword Daggers, and I feel like it falls off a bit, but that's why we have different opinions, right, guys? Koon thinks it's a 5 out of 5. When it comes to PvE, 4-4-3-3. So you gave it a 4-4 in PvE. Whelps, you gave it a 4-4. Both of you guys said it was a 4-4. Koon, real quick. Thoughts on Bow Dagger PvE? Why 4-4 in PvE?
Because it doesn't have enough area AoE skills with the Bow Dagger, and especially Dagger is just to support the longbow skills, and the longbow has not enough the AoE skills. So, but it's still very good to AoE heal the party members, and it still has a very good skills for the dungeon PvE, and also the cooldown decrease, the point shot. What
Deadly marker. Deadly marker. Yeah.
Deadly marker. So it's not like it's not bad, and it's a little bit above the medium. So I get 4.
Okay, Whelps, what do you think? What's your take on the PvE?
Bow Dagger is actually not like great in the DPS. They also have a mana problem, I believe. I gave it a 4 because now the PvE meta, like in the groups, if you want to min-max your DPS, you need to have a bow player to use the deadly marker. You want as much bow as possible in your group to increase the party DPS. So I gave it a 4.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I would agree with that. Bow Staff is next. Well, so why don't you lead us off on this one? You gave it a 4-5, 2-3, and 1-2 in arena. You gave it a fat 1-1 in PvE, and you gave it a perfect 5-5 in excuse me, you gave it a 1-1 in 1v1s, and you gave it a perfect 5-5 in arena. Or excuse me, Jesus, in PvE. Whelps, why don't you tell us about your ratings here?
Yeah, Bow Staff is your typical long-range glass cannon build. It's very destructive in large-scale PvP. I gave it a 4 in tier 1 because I believe with the launch we're gonna get the tier 1 nerf with the staff that reduces our range. That was one of our strong points in playing Bow Staff. So for that reason,
what does it come down to?
Yeah, huh?
What does it come down to? In tier
you
1?
lose the 20% range. Yeah, and in tier 2 you get much stronger with the tier 2 set. But you are very vulnerable. As I say, it's a glass cannon, so in small scale you just get deleted unless you have like a pocket heal. And yeah, it's also you have a bow, the deadly marker for your group in PvE, and you never run out of mana. So it's like one of the highest DPS class right now as well.
Gotcha. And PvE, it's just fantastic. Mr. Kooncoon.
Yeah.
4-5, 1-3, and a 2. Tell me your thoughts on Bow Staff PvP.
So Bow Staff can have the basically the longbow and staff is the longest range of the Throne and Liberty game, which means it can make over 30-meter range from the target. And if they can, all the weapon, the rating list I set up is to depend on the highest, very good players. So which means
Okay, good.
if they are if they are very good and the highest range, the bow staff in the GVG can never get any hit, never get any receive damage, but they can make a very, very good damage. But the reason why tier 1 is only 4 points because it's not even that high enough damage, but still good. But if they get any attack, they can just die instantly. So that's why the 4 point and 5 point at the tier 2 is because with the tier 2 gears with the bow staff, they can actually afford some damages even they receive attack. So that's why it's 5 for tier 2 GVG.
Okay. And you don't like how they perform in smaller scale?
Yeah, because the small scale in the small scale PvP, always the first target will be a player which without the SNS or the dagger, and the best target will be the bow staff. And it will be not 1 versus 1, so the staff cannot frozen the player, all the players who they targeting them, so they cannot afford the attacks. So whatever they should just die.
Right.
But in the tier 2 is 3 point is because it still can be a little bit better than the medium, so I gave 3.
Okay, so in PvE, you did not give it a perfect 5-5. Everyone, including everyone yesterday, I believe, gave it a 5-5 rating in dungeons. Why did you give it a 4-4?
That's because when I make a scores, I compare with the other list.
Sure.
You can see that if every list is 5-5, then people cannot compare which is better. All the 5-5. Is it same as Crossbow Dagger and the Longbow Staff? What the fuck? They cannot compare it. So I was compares between the Crossbow Dagger because before before I make this list, I made 0 of 0 and 5 of 5 first, so I can expect which is the minimum and which is the highest. And the bow staff with the Crossbow Dagger, I expected it, and I think Crossbow Dagger is better than the bow staff, so I gave 4 of 4.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, Bow
Don't
Wand.
touch Matt!
Bow,
Sorry.
no, that's okay. Bow Wand, staff, or excuse me, Jesus, I don't know what is happening today. Bow Wand support. Whelp, you gave it a 5-5, perfect 5-5 in large scale. I feel like that goes without saying, but you gave it a 4 for tier 1 in small scale. Tell me your thoughts on Bow Wand. Why the 4 there in small scale skirmishes, tier 1?
Because it can definitely be 5, but compared to other healer build, which is the staff wand, in small scale you kind of like DPS to finish the targets. You are full support. So in that area, I just gave it a 4.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Other than that, would you say it's the best healer in the game overall?
I mean, we have 2 healer builds, and they both are the best build. Like if you play wand, you're the best. You heal is required for every content,
Yeah.
Dungeons and PvPs.
So yeah. You're running in a GVG. So you're the guild leader, and you've got a inter-server GVG. Okay.
Yeah.
A Riftstone. Let's just say a 1v1 Riftstone battle, and you get to choose your healer. Who do you take? You take Bow Wand or do you take Staff Wand?
I'll take more bow wands.
You take
because
more
of the
bow wands.
tornadoes.
Because of the tornadoes. Gotcha. From the bow. And you've given it a 4-5 in PvE. Would you like to elaborate on that, or just pretty basic stuff?
Yeah, I think in tier 1 they might have mana problems. I'm not sure of this, but I think in the early games you might have mana problems, and when the fight goes longer, if your party DPS is not enough, you'll have more mana problems.
Sure.
Whereas a staff, you get a mana regen skill, so you'll never run out of mana. So yeah, I gave it a 4.
Gotcha. Koon. You gave this a 2-4, and you gave it a 1-2 in small scale.
Yeah.
What is your take on bow wand support in PvP?
Okay, before I explain about the score, healer should be healer, and tanker should be tanker. But bow wand, yeah, it can attack, and also the bow's healing skill, yeah, very good. But it also can healing. It's like a garbage. For example, there is a kimchi jjigae, and if you want some like
That's
you
a food,
want
by the way. It's a food.
Yeah, it's a food, Korean food.
Korean dish.
You want like, oh, today I want salad, but I want kimchi jjigae too. So if you insert the salad into the kimchi jjigae, I want beef too. So you insert the beef into the kimchi jjigae, then that's a fucking garbage. So bow wand in the GVG PvP, it's not even a tanker, it's not even a healer, it's not even a DPS, it's just a fucking garbage.
What?
Yeah, like many.
It's a healer, bro. It's a healer. You can heal up the garbage.
You can just.
Hold on. You know we're talking about. Hold on. You know we're talking about Throne Liberty. We're not talking about Arcade. You know this, right? Just like,
no, not arcade. Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking about the food. Like, for example, you want the pasta, but you want a pizza too. So you shape it, then that's fucking garbage.
Sure. It's like pineapple on pizza. I get you.
Yeah. But the reason why I get. But the reason why I get 4 point with the tier 2 is because with the tier 2 gears, it still has a pretty good heal and it still has a pretty good DPS, so I gave 4 on tier 2 gears.
Okay, so hold on. So let me just wrap my head around this. So you gave it a 1-2 in small scale because you feel like it's not like a true healer. It's kind of like a jampong, kind of like a right? Is that a jampong mean like a what the fuck would be the word for jampong?
Garbage. Garbage.
Trying to think of a different word. Yeah, garbage, but like more like a fusion, like a mixture fusion mutt, but turned bad, kind of like I guess jampong. Yeah, kind of like that, right? Like,
have you seen the Dragon Ball?
Yes, the cartoon.
When they fusion with like this, they fucking fat one and the tiny one fusion together and it makes a fucking garbage.
That's when you fail, but this build works, bro. This is top tier.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't understand. Like, this is like a very good healer build. It has the highest healing output in the game. I don't know.
I think rank 3 arena is also a bow wand player. It's like top 5.
Oh, is it? Maybe he just changed the weapon.
It could be. That's true.
Like,
I don't actually know how that works with the weapon that shows. Do you guys know?
Torment, but I know that guy. He plays bow wand.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's fair. Listen, this is why we have different opinions. I think Whelps and I agree that it is a top tier healer. Mr. Kooncoon doesn't think so much. He also gave it a 0 rating in the arena. In PvE dungeons, Koon, you gave it a 3 and a 5. You actually gave it a 5 in PvE dungeons tier 2. Can you elaborate?
Because there is a one healer you need whatever in the challenge dimensional circle, and the best healer is a tier 2 bow wand player. That's nobody can touch it. Don't touch me.
Because they got deadly marker.
It's like because of deadly marker now also they can heal together, so we don't need any more healers. So the bow wand player can be one of the longbow DPS and also a healer, so he can get a 2 slot in the party members. So it's very, very good. But the reason why tier 1 is only few score is because they cannot afford that the heals and the mana regen.
Mana.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next bow class, bow crossbow. Well, you've given this a 2-3-2-2-1-1 in arena. Very low ratings, I would honestly agree, but you gave it a perfect 5-5 in PvE, which, by the way, if you're wondering, so did everyone else yesterday. We gave it a 5-5 rating and relatively low ratings in PvP. Mr. Whelpsy, what do you think? Tell me about bow crossbow and how it fares in PvP and why you gave it the worst rating overall. Almost.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a PvE only build. The reason it's bad is in PvP because similar to bow staff, you have no defensives. You're very vulnerable. But you're also short ranged. So yeah, it's very low score. I gave it a 2-3 for large scale because you still have tornado. So I gave it a 3. Really, nobody plays this in PvP.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It just very much lacks defensive. By the way, just so you guys know, what you'll probably notice is a lot of these classes, their ratings, the less defensives they have, the better, or the less defensives they have, the lower their rating goes in smaller scale PvP. And that's kind of a universal thing. And just so you know, the reason why we don't have a lot of these off meta classes is because one of the major common denominators for those classes is that it lacks survivability at the end of the day. Dagger not only buffs the main hand weapon, but it also provides a lot of utility and survivability. But bow crossbow in particular is really good in PvE. Whelps gave it a perfect 5-5 rating in both tier 1 and 2, and tier 2, excuse me. Whelps, tell me about why you gave it a perfect 5-5.
Again, bow is meta in PvE. You need a deadly marker, and crossbow just
it goes burr.
Has the highest DPS. And gets the most benefit out of the CDR that you get from deadly marker.
For those of you who may not be aware, deadly marker is a buff, or it's a mark that you put on the boss or the target, and every time that target takes a crit, it reduces the cooldown for everyone in the party. So the more crossbows that you have that are attacking a target that has marker, the lower the cooldowns for everyone, because crossbow has the most amount of actual projectiles and things that hit the target, has insane value and synergy when it comes to the marker. Koon, you gave this a 3-3-2-2-1 in arena.
Yeah.
Again, this is very interesting. What are your thoughts on bow crossbow and PvP?
Do you know, maybe a lot of viewers and you guys also saw that the crossbow that Kim Volunteer burst the 20-50 players at the field battle in the YouTube video, right?
Sorry, did I see a video? I did not see bow crossbow.
Yeah. Have you seen?
Sorry, what video was this? Can you say that again?
Oh, wait a second. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry about
Okay.
Ignore about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Please cut.
Okay.
I saw Crossbow Dagger. I misunderstood. So the bow crossbow, the problem is the target. So when they play like GVG or small scale PvP or arena, most of players focusing on which weapons they are using, and the bow crossbow, which is all focused on and I was a bow crossbow player since the server launch and for like three months.
Really, you were a bow crossbow main for 3 months?
Yeah. I was a main bow crossbow player. The problem is it's like full DPS only, and there is no any way to escape or any evasion, whatever. Which build doesn't matter. It has no abilities to escape from the attacker, so it's very easy to get a target. But it still has a good DPS, so I gave 3 and 3. But the bow crossbow, which means longbow, for example, like longbow has 30-meter range, but if the crossbow has like 70-meter range, they cannot use the ability of 30-meter range as much as they want because of the crossbow. So the crossbow decreased the ability of longbow very high. That's why it could be much more score than that, but it can't be. So that's why 3 and 3.
Okay. You gave it a 2-2 in small scale, though. You don't think the lack of survivability in the defensives make it a 1-1 in small scale? Or do you feel good about 2?
Right. The reason why 2 and 2 in the small scale PvP and the 1 at the arena is because they are very good feed for a Greatsword Dagger player. Because they can't do anything if the melee players come close to them. So they have no idea to do anything. So they are the first target of melee assassin classes. So it's like the bow crossbow isn't bad, but they cannot make that all the ability. They cannot show all the abilities because they will get the first target. That they are just a feed.
Right. You gave it a 4-4 in PvE. You didn't give it a 5-5. Thoughts? Dungeons.
Oh yeah, this is a little bit different than the other scores because I can give this to a 505. Yeah, 5-5, but
You can.
but I can't because the crossbow
can't.
dagger is 5-5.
Okay, so you feel like...
So you guys... Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to clarify. So you think it's very close to a 5-5, but you gave it a 4 because you feel like Crossbow Dagger is better. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I also want to give compares to viewers who can select which is the best.
Sure.
So that's why I had to give a 4 and 4.
Sure. Fair.
But it's almost 5 and 5.
Fair. Let's talk about your new main then. I think you are now maining Crossbow Dagger for PvP, right, Koon? You've given Crossbow Dagger a 2-3, 3-4 respectively, and you gave it a 3 in arenas in tier 2, and you gave it a 4-4 in 1v1s. Tell me about Crossbow Dagger. Why did you give it the ratings you did?
It's depend on average of players, not depend on me, because my build is focused on the crossbow only, and it's only for the range, not like dagger. So but the most of crossbow dagger players are very similar of Greatsword Dagger players. They are very much addicted on the melee combos like 1, 2, 3, 4, no brainwashed. But
No brainwash.
But what I mean is, if they play like that, but that's like all the players playing Crossbow Dagger like a Greatsword Dagger. So if they play like Crossbow Dagger like that in the GVG, it's a little bit better at the tier 1 than the Greatsword because it has at least a range with the crossbow skills. But with tier 2, they will whatever just fucked up. Because the Greatsword Dagger has a whatever much more max health, and the Crossbow Dagger tier 2 players will still depend on the melee combo 1, 2, 3, 4 fucked up. So that's why I gave 2 and 3 on the GVG. And the small scale PvP Crossbow Dagger is pretty good because it still has a good abilities as a Greatsword Dagger. So I gave a same score as Greatsword Dagger small scale PvP. But the 3 vs 3 arena, some of Crossbow Dagger players are very good, yeah, but it's not average. But whatever, it's not like that good to kill. Whatever they had to get better build, and they had to get better combat power. They had to get better specs so they can make a little bit better than the medium score. So that's why I gave 3.
Whelps, you gave this baby 5-4, 4-5, 4-4, excuse me, 4-5 in arena. You gave it a perfect 5 in arena for tier 2. That is 3-4 in 1v1s. What's your take on Crossbow Dagger for PvP?
Well, for large scale, you have that spin to win ability that can wipe out the entire backline, which falls off in tier 2. But in tier 1, I played a Crossbow Dagger in the blue server, and I wasn't really geared. I would just go in, press one button, spin,
boom,
kill like 10 people.
Yeah.
But it does fall off in tier 2. but it's still a 4 in tier 2 when you are maxed out in your gear. Like top kills in my guild is Crossbow Dagger. It gets a lot of kills with spins. And also with the arena, like if you look at the
Hold on,
like,
sorry.
top ranks,
I should mention this just real quick. Sorry to interrupt you. But like Whelps and I are in the same guild. The Expo Dagger he's referring to, he's like literally the best Expo Dagger maybe in the world. He's rank 1 in arena, rank 1 Crossbow Dagger arena. He's really good. He's the person that I actually mentioned in part 1. But sorry, I digress. I apologize.
oh good. So yeah, if you look at the top ranks of like arenas, there's so many Crossbow Daggers there as well. So it has the potential. You gotta be like fully geared. I understand the Koon's score. He like averaged the scores. You gotta be like top gear to perform like that. So yeah. But yeah, once you get there, you'll be 5, top tier. And yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There's a lot of people that criticize Crossbow Dagger, good, bad, OP, broken, dead, whatever. But this is definitely a class, historically, since day one, even now, that you do just always find at the top of the leaderboards. Maybe not like just like full of Crossbow Daggers, but you always see some Crossbow Daggers at the top of whatever leaderboard, whether that's kills, whether that's in the arena. And again, like I said, like obviously not as many kills as like a bow dagger would be on the leaderboard.
Bro, wait a moment. Sorry
Yes.
to disturb you,
Please.
but fucking kill record is a fucking farming at the fucking Stardom Island entry every time. 2 hours. That's just a fucking grinding. So I don't like kill record. Yeah.
Kill. Oh, you don't like kill record. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So sorry to explain that outburst. Koon is essentially saying that he doesn't like the kill ranking because people just abuse it and pad kills by going to overrun dungeons and killing lobies and stuff like that, which he's not wrong. There are plenty of people that actually do that. But even in the arena, you do see Expo Daggers up there, and I really feel like it's a class that really shines, not only if you have a lot of gear, which I agree with Whelps, that's mandatory. It takes a lot of gear to come online, but you also have to be pretty fucking good. I think there's a huge difference in performance with Expo Daggers that are really good versus mediocre Expo Daggers. Whelps, would you agree with that, or do you think it's relatively easy for everyone?
I agree. There's a big highest skill cap and highest gear cap required for this build. And I just want to answer to the chat. He says like Crossbow Dagger falls up at tier 2. How bad is it? It falls off pretty badly. The top guilds don't let you play Crossbow Daggers if you don't have the Queen Bell crossbows.
There it is.
Wait,
gotta be pretty good.
Can I say one thing?
Please, you could say 10 things.
Though I saw and I met many the highest the top 10 Crossbow Dagger players in the arena. You know what? They are just fucking good. It's not because of Crossbow Dagger. They are just fucking good PvP players.
They are.
It doesn't matter which weapon they use. They are just exciting on their activities, which is a very fast progression and a fast reaction.
high
and
APM,
acting, and the high APM. It's not because of Crossbow Dagger. So I hope you guys know the players who likes that high APM weapons is a Crossbow Dagger. That's why they are very good. It's not because of weapons.
True. I 100% agree with that. I think that is a 100% based statement. However, the only pushback, and this very slight pushback, is that Expo Dagger, because it's good enough to do that. For example, like those same players, if they were playing Expo Bow, they wouldn't be there no matter how good they were. That's probably the only critique I would have to say about that. But I 100% agree. They are there because they are fucking good. And a great argument against that would be like, well, they could even be doing better if they were Greatsword Dagger users. in the arena, if we're talking about arena, for example. And honestly, that's a fair argument. That's a fair point. But I 100% agree they're there because they're actually fucking good. And you do tend to see a lot of really good players playing those classes because it is high APM, high skill ceiling. PvE gave it a perfect 5-5. Both of you guys have given it a perfect 5-5. Koon, why don't you tell me here, why is it perfect 5-5? It just goes burr. It just has the highest DPS in the game. Give us the info.
The reason at the dungeon is because it has a, but it's not like 505, 5-5 without any longbow players right now at this point. But if it's a normal good party, then it's always 5-5, and because it's always the most of damage DPS member. And the reason why it's 5-4 in the farming is because I compares between the bow crossbow in the field dungeon party grinding. As you can see, I said that the slot for me farming on the party, not solo. So it's the score of farming PvE is all the party farming, and I don't think tier 2 crossbow dagger party field dungeon farming is better than the bow crossbow. So that's why I gave 4.
That's fair. Whelps, you also gave it a perfect 5-5. You also gave it a perfect 5-5 in PvE farming. Thoughts on Crossbow Dagger for PvE?
So yeah, Crossbow Dagger is known as like S+. It's the highest DPS. It has the highest DPS potential in PvE. But just because it's top tier, you don't want to stack your parties with Crossbow Daggers. Then you would actually lose DPS. You need like 1 Crossbow Dagger and like fill your party with bow players.
Bow players for the marker, which lowers the cooldown. Makes sense. Staff Dagger is next. Another very popular class, especially in the West. Whelps, you gave this a 4-5, 3-4, 3-4, 3-4 respectively. Whelps, tell me what you think about Staff Dagger in PvP.
Staff Dagger is performing really good at the moment. They got a lot of buffs in the skills. They got really high burst damage, and especially when you get the Queen Bell cross staff, you'll be getting a lot of kills. But in small scale, it's kind of like in the same position as Bow Dagger. Lot of builds counter you. So yeah.
Fair enough. I actually agree with that take. Koon, you have it at a 4-3-3-4 and a 2 in 1v1 arenas. Your take on Staff Dagger in PvP?
Staff Dagger is only 3 and 4 for the very good players and most of our shit. It's very hard to play very well, and it doesn't even have a lot of abilities. It's like but it has a very, very long range, so it's whatever it's usable in the GVG. So they can still survive with the dagger, and they can still give damage with all the AoE attacks with the staff. So it's not bad at the GVG, but if it goes to a smaller scale or arena, it's a first target. It's another first target than the bow staff or like bow crossbow. So it has not enough defense, and it's very easy to be a target. That's why I gave a little bit less than the score, but it's still good with the tier 2 and 4 score. That's with the small scale PvP because one of my friends is very good as the Staff Dagger player, and I saw his playing, and wow, that's amazing in the small scale PvP. So that's why I gave 4. But the 3 vs 3 arena, it has no sustain. It has no the sustain attacks, which is like a crossbow. So they have to afford the cooldowns until with the survive. So it's very hard. And I haven't seen any good Staff Dagger players, very good Staff Dagger players in the 3 vs 3 arena, so I gave less points.
Okay. Question. For tier 2 current endgame KR, for large scale GVG, you gave it a 3, Staff Dagger. You gave you gave Bow Dagger a 5. That's a big jump from 3 to 5. What is it about Bow Dagger, what is it about Staff Dagger that makes it a 2-point differential between with Bow Dagger? Sorry, did that make sense? Why is Staff Dagger 3? Why is Bow Dagger 5 in your words, in your opinion?
Because you mean your longbow dagger and staff dagger, right?
Longbow Dagger, Staff Dagger, yes sir.
Yeah, because the longbow dagger can actually heal the parties or heal himself, and also the sustain is pretty good, and also the snare the target, and he can continue the damage to target. But for example, the staff, when the staff give the frozen, he cannot give a damage, but also the target cannot receive a damage and he cannot attack. So it's like same for both. So it doesn't make any abilities to both. And also when the staff dagger can attack, then the target also can attack. So it's not very good, I think. Yeah.
You gave it a perfect 0-0 in PvE.
Oh,
Thoughts? Tell me why.
Useless. I don't invite staff dagger in my challenge dimensional running party. Never.
Not even a
Useless.
1. Not even a 1.
Useless shit. I run the more than 1,000 of challenge dimensional party, but I think I saw only less than 20 times or something. Shit.
Whelps.
For challenge dungeons,
Whelps.
like
Uh-huh.
you want to min-max your party for challenge dungeons.
Yeah.
For the most efficient way to clear the dungeon.
Yeah.
And there's just no space for dagger DPS unless it's a crossbow dagger. So yeah, that includes like Greatsword Dagger, Bow Dagger, or you can take a bow because of deadly marker. It's all about deadly marker in that right now, the meta.
Right.
Fair enough. How is the rotation in PvE with with Staff Dagger, assuming you're not benefiting from?
Damage is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so you think the biggest fall off with Staff Dagger is the fact that it just doesn't have the mark and it isn't crossbow. That's like the biggest detriment.
Min-maxing, yeah, exactly. When it comes to min-maxing your party, you just don't take it. But like for tier 1s and tier 2 normal dungeons, they're perfectly fine.
Yeah. So you did give it a 4 though for tier 2 for tier 2, full BIS setup. Can you elaborate maybe on your 4 ranking there?
Recently, 2 of the stab skills got buffed as well, and dagger skill got buffed. So their kit does so much damage. It's just that we don't have a DPS meter in the game to actually prove that they're really good DPS.
Right.
But I think they have a potential to be part of
the discussion at least.
Yeah, the min-max group.
Gotcha. So you actually think that you maybe Staff Dagger, like you acknowledge that it certainly isn't that top tier DPS right now, but you think it could potentially be a contender, and you think it does some ninja decent damage, and it might surprise some people. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about Staff 1 next then. You gave it a perfect 5 across the board. This is Staff 1 support. I think it kind of goes without saying. It's just a fantastic support class. You were talking about it when we were talking about Bow Wand. Anything you want to tell us about Staff Wand and why it's a perfect 5/5 rating across the board?
Simply because it's a healer class. It's an OG healer build. You just need it for every content. It's got so many good tools. So yeah.
Fair enough. Real quick though, before I get Koon's his opinion, what about Staff Wand DPS? A damage focused Staff Wand build. Thoughts on that?
Me?
Whelps.
I've been hearing. I've never really tested myself. They do have really good burst with the Curse Explosion setup and everything. But I think the cooldown is too long to be a good sustained DPS. That's my thought. Yeah.
You don't think the staff is enough to kind of carry it with sustained DPS between curse bomb windows?
No, because you miss out on passives from dagger, the bow, the damage passive. You don't have damage passive.
Mm-hmm.
Just cooldown is too long, I think.
Okay, fair enough. Koon, tell me about staff, wand, support. You gave it a perfect 5 rating in everything but 1v1s, which is fine. Group content, you gave it a perfect 5 rating as a support. Thoughts?
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me?
The reason why is it's the one of the it's very similar to the Greatsword and the SNS. It's one of the most important and necessary weapons for the large scale, small scale arena, and especially at the 3v3 arena, it could be bad. But I saw many step 1 players, even they are stronger than the SNS 1. They are very tanky. Also, the staff has a ability which is a frozen and one is a sleep. So it's especially working very well at the 3v3. For example, there is a 3 enemies. The one step 1 player can frozen 1 target and then sleep 1 target, and there is only 1 player. That's why it has a high score at the arena 3v3, and the GVG and PvP is whatever necessary. It's the one of the biggest important weapons, so that's why I gave 4/4.
Fair enough. You gave it a 4/4 in PvE though, Koon. Why not a perfect rating for this one?
Because when I make a score of staff and wand, I was thinking about the bow wand.
Bow. Marker with bow.
Yeah, I thought the bow wand is whatever better because it has a mark and it can be a two members in 1 slot, so I gave a 4/4. But
Fair.
it's still very good.
Fair enough. What do you think about staff wand as a DPS role, Koon? What would you give it as a DPS role?
I saw many step 1 DPS players which with the main wand players. They are usually using a wand for the main DPS, and staff doesn't make a big difference. They're using a Tevent wand and they make a very big damage with the staff wand, but that's not a staff wand. That's not a main staff DPS, and that's basically that's just for wand DPS. It's very similar to wand dagger DPS players.
Mm-hmm. What would you give it in large scale GVG? What will be your rating?
If that is DPS,
Mm-hmm.
one tier 1 is 1 and the tier 2 is 3 points.
Okay. What about smaller
Not
scale?
really. Small scale 0 with tier 1 and 1 with tier 2.
Okay. Fair. All right. Let's move on to the last. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did. Let's move on to the last weapon class, Wand Dagger. This is a DPS version. Okay, that's why I didn't write support. 3/4 Whelps, 4/4 in small scale, and 5/5 in arena. Now, to be fair, I actually didn't tell these guys that this was specifically for support, so they could have given these ratings thinking, oh well, the support version would be this. Okay, so I don't know. So Whelps, go ahead and explain your ratings here.
So yeah, I didn't know there was a DPS version of this build. I
that's
considered
fine.
this was a support.
Okay.
It's a very niche PvP build. They can do really good, high impact in GVGs with the sneak sleep bombs in the backlines. It just changes the fight. Yeah.
This is based off the heal, right? Wand Dagger heal, or is this like kind of both? Considering both.
No, you're neither. You're just a sleep bomb 1 trick.
Oh, sorry. So like, I wanted to ask you, like, are these ratings based off of like a DPS focused one or a heal focused one? Because if it's heal, I'm just gonna go ahead and write support in there because this will be public later.
I would say they're more close to healer. So yeah.
This was healer. Okay. So I'll just write support here. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. There are a lot of wand daggers in high tier, high rank arenas. The sustain is really good. Just one, if you have a wand, the sustain it's the only healing weapon. You just get the really good sustain. But your job in GBG, if you do it consistently, if you pull it off consistently, it can be even 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sleep bomb changes the fights.
Yeah. Absolutely, but it's difficult to pull off. It's easier said than done, right?
Yeah, and it's boring class, so nobody really plays it.
It's a boring class.
It's only one job. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so would you say, okay, so small scale, so you like it at a 4/4? Is this, you're saying that this is a class that shines a little bit? So overall, this is a pretty good class, especially even in large scale. If you can consistently land the sleep bombs, are you saying that this is a pretty strong class overall in PvP?
It is. It's very strong. Just for the guild comp, you don't want more than like maybe like 2 or 3, but it's really good to have one. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, because this kind of sounds like it's both support plus DPS, so I'll just kind of write that in there.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, for your rating. PvE, you gave it a 1/1. Quickly explain, please, why the 1/1.
Yeah. Well, you could still heal, but yeah, you wouldn't really take a 1 dagger player to dungeons. That's why.
Gotcha. Mr. Kooncoon, you gave it a fat 1/1 in large scale, 2/3 in PvP, small scale, and then a 1 in arena. A 1 in arena. Again, I did not tell Koon that this was a heal focused or a DPS focused build. So Koon, what are these ratings, and is it based off of DPS, heal, or both?
It's just mostly DPS players I
Yeah,
met,
okay.
one dagger players.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, there is a reason why I gave a shit score for the 1 dagger. There's only like 2, 3 players in the whole server with the 1 dagger players are only good, and without all fucking shit. There's no other decision. It's just a fucking garbage. Like it's very similar of it's very similar of SNS dagger. Fucking garbage, but a little bit here they can do, but they don't heal. Why? They are too busy to attack. They are too busy to stack the fucking weapon, and they are too busy to try to burst the target. But when they do that, their party members are fucking dying. It's not even fucking healer or not even fucking DPS, because which DPS means there is a stun, there is a something debuffs, so they can like something burst the target, but it's like they are stacking a fucking weekend, and it's like fucking fucked up. I don't know why they need to use a fucking dagger. Just garbage for most of players.
Okay, I want to hear why you gave it a 0, because I just think it'll be funny hearing you explain it. Why did you give it a 0 in PvE dungeons?
It compares with the different weapons. I couldn't understand myself. Why they bring 1 dagger for the dungeon? Are they fucking trollers? That's all.
Guys,
The reason why I gave 2 score for the tier 2 is because at least they can heal some.
at least they can heal someone. Okay.
That's all.
Okay, so for those of you who are planning on playing DPS 1 dagger and you're wondering your viability in PvE dungeons, and you're wondering what it'll be like, you can just go ahead and cut that clip. That clip being Koon's reaction, because that's exactly what a lot of people will be thinking if you're queuing dungeons as a DPS wand healer. That pretty much does it. Let me ask you one more question, Mr. Kooncoon. Would these ratings change if the wand dagger focused on just healing? Just a heal focused wand dagger. Would you change the ratings?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So
If you play 1 dagger, you cannot join my party.
Okay. So I'm gonna throw a question to you guys here. a PvE question because you guys are actual PvE Giga Chads, right? When it comes to PvE, if they were to nerf the deadly marker to the ground, remove it completely, or remove it significantly, or nerf it significantly, okay? Obviously, the losers in that would be bow, obviously, right? Who would be the bigger winners in that? And what classes do you think would start coming up in the rating list for PvE? If they were to nerf the marker, what classes do you guys expect to see start rising, maybe even to a 5-grade tier for PvE? Whelps, let's start with you. What do you think?
I don't know about the other classes, like bringing their rates up, but all these builds in this list will be invited to the party more easily.
If they nerfed it.
Yes.
So, wait, are you saying it's a good thing that they nerf it?
I think it's a good thing. I think the nerf is gonna happen because it's way too OP.
I think it is too, which is why I'm asking this question.
Yeah, they nerfed the Crossbow Dagger because every party was looking for Crossbow Dagger. Now everyone's looking for bows. So if they nerf this, more build will be viable to join dungeons.
If you had
Wait.
Yeah.
Can I say
Overshadow.
something?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, it's I understand what Whelp said, but in my opinion, the reason why they nerfed the Crossbow Dagger is because the Crossbow Dagger is a single enough DPS weapons. All the DPS weapons need another members to make a better synergy. But the Crossbow Dagger doesn't need any other weapons. Just itself, it makes the best synergy. That's why they had to nerf it to make a Crossbow Dagger players need party members.
So their solo carry potential was too high, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So what do you think, Koon, do you think they're going to nerf the bow? Or excuse me, nerf deadly marker, which would be obviously a nerf to bow?
It's like remove cheese from the pizza.
What?
So
Ow.
it can't be a fucking tomato paste pizza. Then they will need to fill somewhere else of that cheese. Then that will be like a Greatsword. So maybe they can add like Greatsword something skills, like something decrease the boss defense or something like that a lot for the party synergy. Then it makes sense. But without it, they will not just nerf it because the longbow is now it's a very important part of one of topping of pizza. So they don't need to change it because it's a good combination right now. The Crossbow Dagger, longbow, whatever, maybe Greatsword is, I don't know. But like every other weapons are a good combination right now. It's
Really?
like a good combination pizza. Yeah.
The combination of this pizza is literally Expo bow, Expo bow, Expo bow, SNS Greatsword, Expo bow, Expo bow, Expo.
No, but we still can make a good synergy with the Greatsword Dagger. But it's very I know that's very.
It is true. It is
small case,
Mhm.
but I that's why on my live stream I always say they need to make Greatsword Dagger better. They need to make Greatsword better. Everybody fucking sick on PvP. Greatsword 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 so fucking OP. But I always say Greatsword need more buff. I always say it because even I fucked up from the Greatsword Dagger players. I don't matter because it's because of my control. My kiting was shit. I couldn't read their skills.
Wow.
I couldn't reaction well. So that's why I always say, without it, Greatsword is shit. It's a melee weapon. It's not even range. It's a fucking melee slow attack. Damage is also shit. No any party synergy. It's like fucking broccoli of pizza. And when I order the pizza, I always say, please leave the broccolis.
Listen,
Not
you're
sure if you're playing the same game.
you're okay. See, here's the thing. What you just did is you just essentially said you're for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, depending on what. Like, you literally just split the water in half. Like, that's what you did, because there are people that, mainly Greatsword Indies, that are thinking that was the most base take they've heard all year. Kooncoon for president. And then there's some people that are listening to you thinking this guy's a fucking idiot. But that was a fantastic take, whether you like it or not. I mean, shit, that was an even better delivery. Holy shit. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I don't like broccoli. Yeah, shit. Done.
I mean, okay, well, Whelps, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to counter here. Koon thinks Greatsword needs buffs, and if you're getting killed by a Greatsword, it is a player issue. Excuse me. And if they didn't have that being what they have, then they would be nothing, and they're melee. Whelps, your thoughts?
I don't know what to say, to be honest. Like, you're saying the range and the attack speed is the issue when they have the instant gap close and instant stun into a combo.
There's
I don't know,
a
it's
point.
living in a different
There's a
world.
0.2 second delay. Okay.
It's because of your fingers!
Damn, he went
Fucking
there.
Fingers are the problem! Don't blame Greatsword!
Damn. Dude, I love this. I'm just gonna referee. Of course, I have my own opinions. You can just ask me on Twitch. I'll tell you. But I'm gonna leave the arena to these guys.
I don't know what to say.
Well, there you go.
Dude's drunk.
Dude's
drunk,
there you
man.
go. Okay, listen. Listen.
Well, Whelps, I'm not kidding. I like you. Yeah, don't worry.
It's all good. It's all good. So before we round this out, I'm gonna ask you guys the same question I asked my previous guests, and then we're gonna end the video. Okay? You can only choose one class. What class do you think is overall, and you have to choose overall the best class in the game for PvP across all contents? No context, no explanation, just you got to do it. It's like gun is held to your head. You got to name one class.
You should ask me like if you beat in GVG PvP or Arena 1v1, you need to bat for like $10,000 and you can choose which weapon you can use like that.
What? Sorry, I didn't get.
Which means like what doesn't matter, whatever fucking what the fuck ever, just only way to beat any players you can, then I will choose SNS one.
SNS one.
No
Okay.
other.
All right. So your class, the most powerful class in the game, Kooncoon, you say SNS wand.
Yeah.
Overall, Whelps, what do you think? Obviously, Greatsword. I think it's obviously Greatsword staff, right? What?
I'll
what
go
is
with
it?
SNS GS.
SNS Greatsword. SNS Greatsword. For those of you who may not have watched part 1, if you'd like to know, I would.
Wait, bro.
Yes.
Wait, did Whelp said SNS Greatsword?
He said SNS Greatsword.
Okay, Whelp.
What
you
I would
cannot-
play.
You cannot even kill me, the SNS one in the one combo. Then whatever, I will fill my health again back, and my mana regen will be high, so my mana will be back to the maximum again. Whatever, you cannot kill me in one combo. You will you will lose. But how could you collect? How could you select the SNS one? SNS Greatsword. Sorry.
I don't have to kill you.
But
You're not going
you
into
will
dungeons.
lose.
You're not getting invited to dungeons. You get no gear progression with the wand.
So the question was left vague, like what class is most powerful. The question was left vague because it's not specifically to just large scale. It's not specifically to 1v1. It's not specific to any. It's just like general feel, how impactful. Obviously, there's some things like Greatsword Dagger, or excuse me, Greatsword SNS does better than SNS Wand. You know, obviously it deals more damage, right? Like consistent damage. But I think both classes are powerful, and it's fair. I think that's fair. If you'd like to know what I, along with my two other guests yesterday, what we thought was the most powerful, you're just gonna have to check out part 1. That will be linked in the description below. But as far as this video goes, that's gonna pretty much round it out. Thank you guys so much for joining. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close the video, Mr. Whelps and Kooncoon?
Nah, just thanks for having me. GG's.
Koon, anything?
I just like you. And I like Whelps too. I like Whelps live streams.
I like you too, Koon.
Sometimes I like your longbow PvP. It makes me happy.
You're about to say it's very handsome, like a
And
Korean, like a Korean drama main character. That's what
You
Whelps
guys
is.
too are all very handsome. I love it.
Well, thank you, Koon. I appreciate that. Boys and girls, please check out these guys. All of their links and socials can be found in the description below. Koon primarily makes content and streams on YouTube. Whelps, he makes content on YouTube as well as streaming on Twitch. And of course, yours truly, I stream on Twitch, and you are obviously watching this on YouTube, so your ass better be subscribed. Okay, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. And yeah, don't forget to check these guys out. Follow them, subscribe to them. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.